Decembers and Januaries here where I live is usually a season for cloudy days that inevitably turn into rain. It's a cool weather, but just enough that it gives a bearable chill in my skin. I hope everyone had a lovely Merry Christmas and New Year celebration. I spent my holidays out of town to visit my family, and spending the time there has been quite a fast, busy life. But every day has been filled with joy, and it was definitely a time well spent. I still had only little time to create this video, but this video is a very special video because I had the opportunity to collaborate with a friend. So I'm excited to say that I've made a collaboration with Craig Babin. He is a professional doodle artist on YouTube who creates tutorials on design and drawing, self-publishing, and does art book reviews. And if you're like me who's just starting out on YouTube, Craig also creates videos with a lot of insightful, very useful tips and guides on exactly how to do that. He also posted a video on how he created this doodle art piece on Adobe Illustrator. So if you haven't yet, do check out this video, which I will link in the description below. So in this art collab, I painted over this lovely doodle sketch that Craig sent me. We also decided upon a theme and came up with a topic of starting over a new journey. And I could not be more excited to make a video and record my thoughts about it. I have always been very fond of stories for as long as I can remember. One common theme that I seem to always enjoy in books or films is when the main character, who seemingly lives a normal life, finds himself being tossed in an unexpected adventure. And whether the main character reacts with either reluctance or excitement to this unconventional journey, they sooner or later find out that through their perilous quests and dark trials, there is more in them than they would have ever thought they could. And in the end, they find themselves being stronger, braver, and truer to themselves than they were before. We are the main characters of our own stories, and whether we find ourselves being very excited or reluctant to face on the adventures of this new year, it is an inevitable, looming fate that allows for our human progression to go our own hero's journey. I think the celebration of New Year's are a magical reminder that despite all of that has happened this past year, we celebrate because we have gotten this far and that we have completed another year in this life. And in a way, it gives us a new hope that old things have now passed and the birth of new experiences, learning, goals, and achievements arise. I've had my fair share of unfulfilled New Year resolutions, and a small portion of the ones I've actually stuck through. But these lists of resolutions can help us evaluate and reflect on what kind of year we would like our 2023 to be. Personally, my resolution for this year is to find balance in my spiritual, physical, mental, and intellectual aspects, and rediscover my passion for creating and finding more ways to express myself creatively. As January started, I tried to remind myself why I chose the path of the artist in the first place, because honestly, before the year 2022 ended, I felt like I was losing sight of my own creativity and doubted whether I should really take up this path of being a full-time artist. I ended up having a burnout. It came to the point where I dreaded even the thought of sitting on a chair to dedicate a few hours of drawing, and worse yet, I did not feel any spark of satisfaction or joy in creating my finished artwork. The process of creating the art stressed me out. So I realized that I had to take a step back on what I perceived what it means to be a successful artist, or just successful in general, and instead redefine what success means for me. To push through on the path of an artist despite all of its risks and financial uncertainties. I have been listening to a few motivational podcasts lately and came across a comment from one of the listeners who quoted, "The man who loves to walk will walk further than the man who loves the goal." And that was something that stuck to me for a while. It has been in line with my reflections concerning my definition of success, and I've slowly learned, and I'm still learning, not to rely merely on what society, the media, or this world defines success. To me, it is something I closely relate to feelings of purpose and fulfillment, which I guess can closely be related to the meaning of happiness as well. It is of celebration to doing and not merely achieving. When I get to enjoy drawing even just 3 hours a day, I consider it a success. Or when I get to read, write, clean the house, spend time with my family and loved ones, or do anything merely active or productive with the intention of doing them, I celebrate it as a success. I had to let go of my old goals that have honestly been molded throughout the years by the mainstream media and pave way for new ones. I also had to let go of unnecessary expectations that I give myself and put away distractions that hindered my time dedicated for growth and learning, may it be lessening time on social media or letting go of old unhealthy habits. And in a way, it helps me push away irrational feelings of doubt on my self-worth and unnecessary expectations in what is perceived by society that is supposed to be achieved at my age. For me, no external wealth or material thing can truly replace that internal revelation in human growth and spiritual learning. Of course, success for every one of us can be different, and whether yours is a bit more complex, or maybe as simple as watering a plant, or maybe taking a walk, talking with someone, or simply being with loved ones, it is valid, and you are doing you. On my own hero's journey, I was at first reluctant to see what the dawning of 2023 will bring, because looking back on last year, it has been for me a time of challenges, weakness, trials, and loss. But now, I'm realizing that it was also a time of renewal, learning, healing, and serving others. And to those of you who are currently experiencing hardships, in which all of us experience in our lives every once in a while, I truly pray and hope you find balance and peace this year as much as you need. But with all my heart, I am hopeful. And life is a daring adventure.